All right. What up, everybody? So I'm still messing around with this thing. It's Rumble Live that connects to everything. So I'm still trying to figure out how to manage this. Um, like it keeps when I play a video, the sound won't go through. So I'm just trying to figure out why that's happening. So just give me a minute, okay? Yeah, there's no fucking sound. But I'll play a video while I'm here. And I'll do some talking. I'll play the Real Alien pre CGI, pre 2025. Well, it's really frustrating. How's everybody doing today? So it turns out that Jeffrey Epstein was connected to Um, Let me see here. Hold on a minute. Jeffrey, he was connected to all kinds of, very powerful people, cutting deals, working with them. Um, Here it is. But there are reports coming out that he was associated with scientists tied to advanced technologies, researching fringe UFO technologies. I'm sure. I'm sure. But these are all real aliens, and this, came about because of from using my heart to, ask my heart, is this true? Is this real? Watch the being move. You see how it's jolty. This guy, he's an extra dimensional. Watch how he moves. Oh, that's another one. Here, watch how this guy moves. You see the little one in the doorway? He's watching the guy play video games. So weird. That's all I get with the options in this stupid thing. Watch how he moves. See how quick he moves? Yeah, so I'm just trying to find out what why I can't play sound. You see how the guy's head is moving? There's like a weird thing coming out of his head. This one was found in Switzerland, and that's the same species with the three fingers as Maria found in the Nazca alien mummies. So messing with the sound, trying to figure out a few things. Same species was found in Russia as these are the Anunnaki. They're also known as cherubs. And it's a big problem. Zeta Reticuli. See what else I got here.
That's correct. I can't allow the voices of the project personnel to be heard by the general public.
That's
There's
real.
a very good chance their family or friends on the outside might recognize them.
Isn't your purpose in releasing this tape to expose Area 51 to the world?
And this came out in the 90s, but it's clearly real. Like, I can see its life force, its essence, and the way that it moves its eyes. It's not a doll. It's a real video. And the military has been doing, slowly indoctrinating the people with the truth, like slowly kind of feeding it out. And the whole reason why it's all been covered up and why it's all been suppressed and why they haven't been able to tell the truth is because we have been being used as a slave resource. And the elite, who are half reptilian, half Draco reptilian, from when Satan and Eve had sex in the Garden of Eden, creating Cain, and then Eve had mated with Adam, creating Abel, and then God kicked out Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, and Eve had twins, Cain and Abel. Something they don't tell you in the Bible. And, well, the reason why is because God and the devil have been at war for the past 6,000 years. Even longer, even before that. I know for sure from the evidence of the pyramids that align to Orion destroyed on Mars. So, the elite, many of them, of this satanic side, are blood relatives to Draco, to Satan himself, who is a living being who comes from Thurbon. It's a star in the Draco star constellation. And for the past 6,000 years, we have been kept in the dark. We have been being used as not only a slave source, but a food and drug source, adrenochrome. This is why pictures of pictures of Saturn he always carries a sickle. And the sickle represents harvest time. So harvesting. And what would happen is a comet would bring them. That's how they travel. Some of them. Saturn himself travels in a gigantic black cube known as Saturn's cube, and this is why in Mecca the Muslims walk around Saturn's cube. It's because that's what Satan's vehicle, or Saturn, the Alpha Draconian, that's what his vehicle is. It's a black cube. But also, what these reptilians do is they carve out these asteroids. And they put their technology inside of it, and they use the asteroid as a shell to contain oxygen and other things like that, or whatever they're breathing. And it's perfect because they don't have to use material from a surface of a planet, mine it, and then bring it up. All they have to do is carve out these rocks and incorporate their technology to it. Very intelligent. And that's what they've been doing. So, Comet Ping Pong. That's why James Alefantis named his pizzeria Comet Ping Pong, because every 100 or 1,000 years a comet would show up, and in Latin it was called disaster, and they called it disaster in Latin. In English means evil star. So when the comet showed up, they knew. This is also why they painted X's on the doors. Red X's, because they knew, and they didn't want these beings, when they showed up, to take them. So they painted red X's on the door. But that's what's been happening for the past 6,000 years. And it was a war between God and the devil, the Anunnaki and the Alpha Draconian, who are also part of the Orion group, who is a satanic force who takes over star systems. So basically, the whole reason why we've been lied to and kept in the dark about the aliens is because we've been being used as a resource to do the work. And that's what we are. We're a workforce, and the Anunnaki created us to mine gold for them because their workforce quit on them. They were called the GG, and they are the Nazca alien mummies. Maria, the big one, that species worked for the Anunnaki and quit, and the Anunnaki had to create human beings. It's very simple. They took a monkey, they added their DNA to the monkey to create a proto-human, and they did that and jumped in their UFO and time traveled 1,000 years. Got out to see where they were, and they'd adjusted a little more. And they did that 67 times. And they probably did it in a day for them, because they have time travel, and they just jump in the UFO and travel, 1,000 years into the future to see where they were at, get out, and adjust a little more until they created the human being, which we serve as for two purposes. We're not just used to mine gold for them, but we were also created as containers of the soul. The soul is actually a karmic recording device of our activities on Earth. It's because this is also a test. We are tested. This is a test. Are we true of heart or not? And when we die, which there is no death really, our soul recording goes up to the book of life, where we are judged what used to be, in Egyptian times, the job of Thrope, the long nose, the long billed, bird-like being who kept track, who would weigh the heart to the feather. And that was his job until Christ came, or was created, and Christ took over that job and is doing that and has been doing that in the fifth density for the past 2,000 years. But Christ also was they probably used time manipulation to around his body to bring him back a few days back to life. And then they brought him up 3 days after he died. They brought him up to his spacecraft and is traveling through time and space. But he has been for the past 2,000 years, been existing in his soul, has been existing, judging human beings to determine whether or not they are compassionate enough to enter heaven, or evil to be sentenced to hell, which Satan watches over. He's an Alpha Draconian who is also a fifth dimensional entity. He exists in this fifth dimensional reality that has been suppressed from humanity. It's the awakened state of mind, or astro travel, or our souls existing in the Dharma, or the Holy Spirit, or the life force, if you want to call it that. But they created us for that purpose, to be containers of the soul, to, as a testing range. Earth is a testing range. This is a test for everyone, to find out if you're true of heart or not. And it's either heaven, hell, or reincarnation. But because the truth is now out, and there is great evil in this world, great evil, the time has come to, like Noah's Ark. Remember Noah's Ark? What did God do? God flooded the earth, and that time has come again, because the earth, the people of the earth, have lost their morality and have succumbed to this satanic materialistical ideology and gain for selfish purposes, rather than following the golden rule, which is to see yourself and others. And because of this imbalance, revelations, the truth revealed, and Noah's Ark. It's Noah's Ark. It's revelation. And it's not good. It's not good, not because the Antichrist is coming, the beast is coming. Well, he is sent by God because of this satanic, materialistical evil that has destroyed, or almost, or virtually destroyed, humanity. I mean, look around. People are cutthroat. They hate each other. It's not good. It's not good. And that's why this is all happening. The truth is being revealed, and the big problem is that these evil people have been in control of our world for thousands of years. These evil, satanic, child raping, child eating, half reptilian people have been in control of the entire system that they created, and they were allowed to create. Because what happened was, 6,000 years ago, the Anunnaki created us to mine gold for them, for their spacecraft, because they travel around in a gigantic golden orb, and I can show you what that looks like. Yeah, here we go. See the golden orb? The Vatican, the United Nations, and Ground Zero. The golden orb is what they travel in. It's their vehicle. the true symbol of God, which is the golden orb emitting light. It's always emitting light. So, as you can see in Akhenaten, the one true God, who is Aten, they travel in a gigantic golden orb.
And then they showed him a massive golden orb, and they said that it's on its way towards us and that it's returning, as big as the sun.
Yes, the
And to this day, we
Anunnaki.
still don't understand what it is, which is why Dad rarely ever talks about it, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah, with Chris Bledsoe, he's actually a deceiver who was told about the orb coming, the Anunnaki. As you can see in Revelation's picture, Jesus standing on top of the orb. Travel. It's travel. It's just like St. John. Let me see if I can find the picture here. It's just like St. John, which is evidence of traveling. See the cherubs? Those are the Anunnaki. They are the Nazca alien mummies. The little beings. You see St. John? Revelations. This is a painting. They're the little beings, the cherubs, helping St. John write Revelations. Standing on an eagle. The eagle always represents travel. But not only did the Anunnaki help St. John write Revelation, right? But they also helped Ben Franklin find electricity. And not only did they do that, but there's a device back here with another little golden orb. It's free energy technology. 1700s, Ben Franklin. The Anunnaki was helping humanity. They're God's angels. And this is why the Freemasons worship the tools. But when I saw the star alignment on September 23rd, 2017, the woman, Virgo, pregnant with Jupiter in her womb, with the crown of 12, Leo, and the 3 planets, Mercury, Mars, Venus, with the moon at her feet and the sun at her back. And when I saw that alignment, I knew they had time travel. I knew they had time travel. Because how did a man, St. John, who lived 1,500 years ago, know a 7,000-year-old star alignment? Impossible. There's only one explanation. He was helped. He was shown he was brought into the future and showed a possible future, possible future. But there's a lot of time manipulation here. Because they have time viewing devices, they're able to see into the future. And because they can see it, they can manipulate it. And so that's, and maybe about a year after I saw the star alignment and I knew that they had time travel, I found this painting, and with the evidence, there they are, the Nazca alien mummies. Let's see here. But yeah, they helped St. John and Ben Franklin and the Freemasons. That's why the Freemasons worship their tools. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. These beings, the Nazca alien mummies, found and released on Gaia TV. They were found in Peru, in the desert. And when I saw them and I saw their x-rays, I knew they were real. But this was after I had contact with translucent beings who came to me while I was sitting meditation, and they touched me. And one of them stuck like a rod with a quarter collar up against my neck while I was sitting meditation, and I knew they were real. And I went home and I was very excited. And I started researching them. And 11 days later, the Nazca alien mummies came out. They knew that I was going to come across this. And a week after that, I realized that they were the same species of extraterrestrial sitting with King Akhenaten. They're the same species. These beings. The little beings. Those aren't his children. No, that was a satanic lie, because we've been living in night first. But there are other paintings of them, and there's a cherub, which that's what they are. They're cherubs touching the chin in appreciation. In appreciation. See? No, not you, Siri.
Okay.
Go away. Cherubs. You see what the cherub's holding? Just like helping Ben Franklin, just like helping St. John. Here, the cherub is gifting the square, the level, the compass. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in here. Looks like candles. They might have given candles to humanity. They've been helping humanity, but 6,000 years ago, Satan showed up. Saturn showed up and took over the Anunnaki. Okay? These aren't, again, it's the same thing as King Akhenaten and the satanic side lying to the people, going, oh, those are his children. Those aren't fucking children. They're not children. But it's the same thing with Satan or Saturn eating his children. Those aren't children. Those are the Anunnaki, God's angels. There's Cupid's arrows. Those aren't his children. And another satanic lie. Because everything here has been a fucking lie. Saturn eating the Anunnaki. That's what happened 6,000 years ago when Draco, that's who it is, it's Draco, the Alpha Draconian, showed up with the Orion group and took over from the Anunnaki. But I found evidence of that. It's all in my book, my free book, at theorionlines.com. Everything's in my book, and it's been out in the public for, well, I started doing this research 9 years ago and figured everything out. So, but I found all the evidence. Yeah, I know what's going on here. The Freemasons are good. It's the Illuminati who are evil. The Freemasons have been being gifted by God's angels. God is actually a female. God is known as Luna. So Saturn, who is an Alpha Draconian, he's a big reptilian being. In fact, I can show you a picture of exactly what he looks like. Um, oh, here we go. So, symbolism will be their downfall. There's Greer. His symbol is the symbol of the Alpha Draconian. That's their symbol. The 3 stars, which are the 3 stars in the Draco star constellation. This is what Satan actually looks like. He's a white Draco. And I've seen him in the 5th density. I've met with him over his planet in the Thurbon star system. And he's 15 feet tall. He's big. But he interfered with God's test, creating Adam and Eve. Tempted Eve with the fruit of knowledge. She ate the fruit, and it's written in the Bible. I can't remember what was said about how the serpent tempted Eve, but he seduced her, taught her how to have sex, producing Cain. Cain is half reptilian, half human. Stuff. This painting is from the 15th century, and I knew immediately, they knew what was going on. This is why Cain is half reptilian, half human. They knew. And this is the whole secret to their secret societal structure, and why there is a left wing and a right wing, why there is good and evil, why there is this Canaanites, half reptilian, half human, and human beings. This balance between two. This is why. Because not all of us here are human. Many are half reptilian, half human. But that's what happened. God denied Cain because of the reptilian side in him, because God wanted to produce a pure human being. And Cain got angry and killed his brother and ate him. And that's why all the Satan worshippers eat children. Okay? So, back to the... But all the evidence was here. It was always here. It was just they needed a miraculous mind to figure out what the fuck was going on around here. And the evidence with the Nazca alien mummies, that triggered everything for me. This was 9 years ago. Why haven't I been recognized? Why hasn't the truth come out yet? It's a big problem. Because these Satan worshippers who've been in control of the entire system will now have to face all of humanity for what they've done to us, enslaved us, and used us as not only a slave source, but a food and adrenochrome source, and doing all this satanic nightmare evil shit. Well, when people find that out, the elite is going to kill everybody. Out of fear of the people rising up against them. That's what Revelations is. It's not the Antichrist, the beast, showing up. Who's the bad guy? He's actually the liberator. The Satan worshippers inverted all of this. They inverted the beast. Because the beast, the Antichrist, was trying to liberate humanity from this satanic rule. And they call it night first. So these two beings have been at war for thousands, if not millions of years. And they are the Anunnaki, which Zachariah Stitchin was actually a Satan worshiper who was hell-bent on hating on humanity and keeping humanity asleep. Keeping humanity asleep. Because it's this whole Canaanite, half reptilian, half, human, against humans. They consider human beings the enemy. It's confusion. And hatred of God for rejecting Cain. That's been the big fucking problem of humanity being lied to and about everything. I mean, we were told by Zachariah Stitchin that the Anunnaki were the tall beings in the story. That's not true. The Anunnaki are the little beings who were taken over by the Orion group. That's why there were many gods in Egypt. And then all of a sudden, King Akhenaten shows up and declares there's one true God. Aten, the sun god, who these beings are actually ruled over, not necessarily ruled, but they work for God, who is actually Luna. Luna, or the lady, or Hathor. She is of the good side of this balance. So, what happened was 6,000 years ago, the satanic Orion group, who is part of the Draco reptilian group, showed up and took over from the Anunnaki. You see them enslaved here. You see how they're on they're on their knees, arrested. That's what, and standing on them. That's what the satanic side did 6,000 years. They showed up and took over, hunting them, taking them, running them over with their chariots, which are UFOs. Standing on them, the Anunnaki, God's angels. And this was the satanic Orion group, the Draco reptilian group. Another one with the chariot running over the little beings, the Anunnaki, Moloch. This was on a Babylonian cylinder seal. There's Moloch with the horns. And this is entitled Child Sacrifice. Again, these are not children. Just like King Akhenaten, just like Saturn eating his children, just like Moloch with the child sacrifice, these are not children. They're God's angels. They're the Anunnaki. The ones that the Anunnaki created human beings to mine gold to fix their atmosphere, which they travel around in. Their atmosphere actually serves as not only an atmosphere to their planet, Naibru, inside of the golden orb, but it also acts as a vehicle. And it's extremely intelligent because they can move their entire species who exist on their planet inside the golden orb instantly, unlike Earth, which you can't move the Earth out of position without heavy machinery like they have on the backside of the moon. That's how they towed the moon into orbit. And I think the moon has a lot to do with the menstrual cycle of human beings. But and it has to do with the water, of course, but and the flow of, I mean, it's a very, very, very sophisticated and complex system that God and these beings created, and having to do with all the stars and the zodiacs. All that shit is real. It's astrotheology, which is all real. It's all real. It's why it was being taught, because those the planets and the stars were actually placed there intentionally by divine mind. So, now, is there a bigger god than Luna? It's possible. I don't know. I don't know how far it goes, but I know that these positions are interchangeable, just like Thrope and Jesus Christ reviewing souls and to be judged. So Moloch, and you see how it's kneeling? Do you see how it's kneeling there? Same shit thousands of years later, because it was the Sumerian time and then the Babylonian time, about 1,000 years. There they are. They're kneeling the same way. That's how I knew. And there he is again, kneeling. Basically, it's a war between God and the devil. Okay? They, over thousands of years of fighting, even when they reached Egyptian times, which was 3,000 years past all of this in Samaria. So 3,000 years later, all of a sudden, King Akhenaten shows up. Well, actually, let me show you. King Akhenaten shows up and declares there's one true God, Aten. And Aten is also Tetragrammaton. Tetra, a letter. I'm sorry, 4. Gramma, a letter. Aton. Aton, Aton. Aten, or Aten, Aten. Let me see here. Here we go. evidence. Evidence. And I'm not stupid. But I can tell you, the Anunnaki, I'm pretty sure they come from Sirius B. But there were many gods, as it always is in every single culture: Mayan, Aztec, the Native Americans, the Hopi, Rome, Greece. It's always the same gods. They're extraterrestrial beings with great technology, including spiritual, enlightened beings who exist in multiple extra dimensions past this four-dimensional reality that most of us exist in. Some people can and do exist in higher frequencies or higher dimensions, like the fifth, sixth, seventh dimension, even higher. But this has been an evolutionary step. These are evolutionary times, and this is a test. This is a test. So anyway, there were many gods who are the Orion group and the Draco Alpha Draconian, who were ruling, and until King Akhenaten shows up with Queen Nefertiti. And declare there's one true God, Aten. And it's always either an orb, a circle, or a triangle. The orb is their world. And you see the little man in there? That is probably Luna, or God. But the light extending from it below, one mind, the awakened state of mind, many arms, usually holding onks, which is the breath of life. And the fact that they depicted these beings identical in their shape is extremely significant. So what happened? Well, the other group came back, defeated the Anunnaki, and they've been at war for thousands of years, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And there are many examples of these beings showing up through time, fighting each other. Let me all right. This is my website, theorionlines.com. The Gigi, these beings with the 3 fingers, were replaced by human beings who were created by the Anunnaki with their own DNA into the tree of life, this is the human tree of life. But we were created for 2 functions, which was containers of the soul and to work as a labor force to mine gold for their spacecraft, which is a golden orb, a gigantic golden orb. But it's all here Moloch, when Moloch took over the golden orb, how Jesus is returning because they're time travelers. The devil, who've been eating human beings this whole time. But I wanted to show you the war. Oh, how about an angel? How about an angel fighting a demon, a real demon? You see this little guy? That's a Iron Man. That's a real angel.
Oh, shit.
And I knew, and here's Iron Man, and he flies through, he splits in and out of reality real quick, and then takes off towards the car. But he's being chased by, what does that look like to you? I mean, look at the flashing lights. What does that look like to you? It's the fucking cops. It's the cops, man. They're flashing their lights like a cop would. See that? They've got cop lights, and they're being chased. These are demons who have been adrenochrome harvesting human beings. These are the angels. They travel in golden orbs. The cops. They've been hunting the demons and chasing them. But that's a real angel chasing a real demon. Like, here's another example. Jesus' crucifixion, his murder. And why was Jesus murdered? He was murdered for telling the truth. He was murdered for teaching the golden rule. There's the evil and good chasing them. It's all in throughout history. See, either good or evil, which ones they are. I think that this one might be evil, chasing the good ones. But it's throughout all history. The UFOs painted. These are time-traveling beings who come in and out of our temporal business here. I call them time tailors, like tailoring a suit. But it's clear they've been here this whole time, watching over us, guiding humanity, and fighting this evil that has destroyed humanity. And you can see the war that's been happening this whole time. Golden orb with rays coming down in Japan. The war. So what's been going on here is that this evil group of aliens have been showing up, ready to harvest human beings as food. And the good aliens show up and go to war with them. And that's what has been happening here. God's angels show up and fight the demons who were just about to harvest human beings. This is why they drew red X's on the doors. And what the comet was when the comet showed up. The Pope making a deal with the demon. Night first, keeping humanity in the dark. And that's what happened through thousands of years of war with each other. They made a deal, especially because they knew the timeline. they made a deal and they said, all right, we'll let you have humanity. Well, I mean, the Draco took over and they were very powerful reptilians. But the Anunnaki agreed to night first. They agreed to it. That's why humanity has all been kept in the dark. Until we woke up. Until we went, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on here? What is this? What have they been doing to people in hell? Why is the Pope carrying a gigantic black rock through a pool of blood? What have they been doing in hell? Is hell real? Yes, in multiple dimensions. They are present in the 4 dimensions that we exist in right now, living underground, using humanity as a food source, but they also exist in the 5th dimensional reality. There is hell in the 5th dimension, and that's where the souls go to be tortured over and over and over again and again and again. But they were actually living here too. And they probably still are. That's why all these earthquakes are happening in Area 51. Because they've been trying to get rid of the evil groups that have been living here. Eating human beings. But it's all here. It was all here. It just needed to be explained properly, understood and explained. And it's very unfortunate because these are the end times. But that's what they've been doing to human beings. They've been eating us. Preying upon our free will. That was the deal. It was free will, which allowed these beings to prey upon human beings by temptation, by offering evil. If they wanted to do that, and they did it, then their own karma would make them applicable to either heaven or hell. That's why they've been poisoning us in every single fucking way with pornography, distraction, TVs, movies, entertainment, materialism. All this shit has been to offer them by their own free will to choose whether to indulge or not. But by indulging in this evil, in this, without living your lives with integrity, compassion for yourself, compassion for others, understanding, honesty, without greed, anger, and delusion, the 3 poisons, following the golden rule, telling your friends and your family that you love them. If you don't follow that core essence every single day, every single moment of your life, and you indulge in this evil nightmare, you will be applicable to go to hell. There's always a which is real. Not only in the 4 dimensions, which it's up, down, left, right, front, back. That's the 3 dimensions. The 4th dimension is time. The 5th dimension is the spiritual realm. Astro travel. Where heaven, hell, angels, and demons exist. Because there's a balance. The demons can exist in the 5th density. Have you ever heard of Klingons? These demons float around and they go to people who are deeply troubled. I hate you. Fuck you. I hate this place. I hate, and being nasty and evil. Well, these beings are drawn to that, and they suck off of these people who are admitting this nasty negative frequency, this low vibration. They come and they absorb that energy. They feed off of it. Sickness. It's because we were not taught right. We were not taught the truth. And it's a big problem because this whole satanic group has been allowed to use humanity to their own whims. And now that they're all revealed, it's a big problem for humanity because they're going to turn around and end the experiment out of fear of the people rising up against them. That's why this is a big fucking problem. But yeah, they've been eating us. They've been eating souls this whole time. And these people have been poisoned. And there's evidence with the Nazi death marches were constructed by the Zionists in the shape of Orion to worship the Orion group. And I'm pretty sure it was revenge for Moses and God leading the Jews out of Egypt under Orion rule. That's why the Egyptian pyramids align to Orion's belt. That's where they come from. And this is what the trade was in World War II. Trade? Yeah, that's how the Nazis got all that UFO technology. And then the Allies showed up to find out what the fuck was going on, stopping this. And the UFO, the Nazi UFOs, went down to Antarctica to be with the reptilian Orion group and the Draco and work with them. And then Admiral Byrd went down there in Project Paperclip, got his ass kicked, and had to go back, limping back to America, and told them what was going on. But in America, the Zionists were in total control of the entire system, which afforded them to rob the American taxpayers for the past 100 years to build secret deep underground military bases in cities, primarily to house the gray reptilian, the Greys, who are possibly, and I'm pretty sure, the elite today from an alternate future timeline who've traveled back in time to live underground in the underground cities. It's the same, not only is it in the same shape of the Orion star constellation, but it's in the same distance, 300 miles. It was in the same size. And this is 300 miles, which it's identical in shape and size, proving the map drawn to be true. It's accurate. So yeah, that's what they've been doing this whole time. They've been eating us. In every single culture, they were having others eat human beings as well. And it's mostly with the blood, which is ambrosia. It is the nectar of the gods, adrenochrome. That's what's been going on here. And that's why Revelations is happening. Because humanity has gone off the deep end. It has been poisoned. Pretty wild shit, huh? But that's what this is. That's what's going on. Let me but it was all here. It was all here. It was all in the evidence, and you know, they just needed a very intelligent person, I guess. Well, that's what they did. They triggered me, and then I woke up and I realized that these beings were real 11 days after they came to me. They were translucent beings, and I know they were good. They were angels, God's angels. This is the Tetragrammaton. The Golden Orb, which encompasses their world Naibru, which is what they're coming in. Very soon. And allegedly, they will show up when Regulus is above the King Star is above the Sphinx. So this is from I Pet Goat 2. This movie where there's chaos and turmoil, which is what we're about to enter into, by the way. The satanic side is going to invert everything. They are going to release viruses and kill as many people as possible. And that's what this whole silent war has been about. That's what the whole war between Trump and Biden and the Democrats have been about. When Biden got into office, they tried to end Space Force immediately. Why? Because they were setting us up for an adrenochrome harvest. That's why Biden was running around saying with his slogan, this is a battle for the souls of the nation. What did he mean by that? Well, it was up to the people to decide whether to vote for Biden, get harvested, or vote for Trump, resulting in the New Jersey drone wars, when the military brought in all these planes and helicopters with lights all over them for a week in order to sneak in the Galactic Federation to take out the Greys living in New Jersey, who were just about to pop out in adrenochrome harvesters. It's very complicated, very, very multifaceted. Basically, since JFK, they've been planning on the Great Culling. That's what the elites have been calling it. Where they were setting us up to have the Greys come up from underground and invade and harvest all of humanity. Well, America, which would have encompassed all of humanity. That's why Q has said humanity at stake. There was also military saviors of the world. Yeah, they got Trump into office, which stopped Hillary Clinton from pulling Agenda 21, which was the Great Culling. It was the adrenochrome harvest of humanity. They were going to kill they were going to harvest everyone. Just like Jupiter Ascending. You know that movie? That was stopped by Trump getting into office. And then 2 years later, in December of 2018, the military invaded Area 51, kicking the reptilians out of Area 51. And I knew that was true, that information was true, because 12 days after that event, the all-seeing eye, the Pentagon Pyramid, showed up over the Pentagon at 4:30 in the morning, December 19th, 2018, and hovered over the Pentagon for about a half an hour. And I knew that information was true, because why would they show up and expose themselves like that? They were pissed. They wanted to find out what the fuck the military thought they were doing stopping the alien invasion. Because I'm not retarded, unfortunately, like most people are. So a few months after that, Russia was allowed to fly over Area 51 for the first time ever. Why? Well, to see if the reptilians were actually kicked out of Area 51. And then, a month later, Space Force hearings, where Senator Blumenthal spills the beans, didn't realize that someone in the public knew what the fuck was going on with them eating us, and said the whole thing. Oh, sure. Well, I think the American people would be pretty alarmed. Oh, you fucking think that we've been being used as a slave source and a food source this whole fucking time? You think they'd be pretty alarmed? Where are all the missing children going? All the milk carton kids, where have they all been going? Well, you see, half of the system has actually been this satanic, evil, child-eating, child-raping nightmare system who've been part of the whole CIA, the whole fucking system. They're everywhere, this evil side. And they were allowed to operate and take children and have sex with them and record them. I mean, it even got to the point where they were raping and eating children at Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas, calling it Uncle Sam's Snuff Factory. They were having sex with children and then having the child murder the other child while filming it in order to sell it in the black market. And that shit was just like, alright, I'm fucking done with this. It's no wonder God showed up to activate me to reveal all this shit. Because they went too far. They went too far. And it's a big problem for humanity, because when the truth comes out, these fucking Satan worshippers are going to pull something called the Black Awakening. Which is 2 million MK Ultra mind control slaves who are going to be activated. And these people will do anything for Satan. You see, they know where they're going. They're going to hell. And because they know where they're going, they don't give a fuck about anything. They want to please Satan. It's a fucking nightmare. So anyway, after all this fucking nightmare bullshit comes to us for what they've done, we're in the middle of a multi-species, super intelligent, super powerful, super technologically advanced, super spiritual, extra-dimensional, interdimensional, extraterrestrial, temporal time war. That's where we're in the middle of right now. It's extremely complicated. But that's who God and the devil are. Angels and demons, God and the devil, heaven and hell, all that shit is real. It's all these beings. extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial beings. So, when Christ comes back, he's traveling. You see how he's standing on the boat. He comes out, and it's day. See how it's day? This is at the end of IPEC Go 2. Very, very important. So he comes, lotus blossoms are blooming, which symbolizes the awakened state of mind. Lotus blossoms. And the golden orb, which is God's vehicle. Christ awakens. Okay. Christ consciousness. You see the symbol on his forehead? It's the triangle. It's also with light radiating down below. You see this? The true symbol of God. Right here, baby. True symbol of God. Not the cross. The cross represents his murder. Because the Catholic Church is evil. The entire Catholic Church is evil. That doesn't mean that God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit are evil. No. I'm not saying that. God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit, you should confide in. Find your moral center and be at peace with what Christ taught, which was loving compassion. See yourself and others, the golden rule. That's key. Unfortunately, these corrupt, evil, satanic nightmare people have been in control of the Holy Catholic Church this whole time. Why have all the Catholic Church priests been touching, raping children this whole time? Including my father in 1964, which he had a class action lawsuit, won, and refused to take down his website with the information, so they refused to pay him. And he said, you know, fuck you. I'd rather have the people know the truth than take your dirty money. But they've been touching children this whole time. Why? I mean, aren't they of Christ, of God, and these priests have been going out this whole time touching children? What the fuck? Right? Why are the Catholic priests feeding people the body and the blood of Christ? What the fuck is that? That's cannibalism. Why are they making people worship his murder? He didn't die for the sins of humanity. He was fucking murdered for telling the truth. Why are they lying? The true symbol of God. Our Creator. Every single Catholic church has a sacrificial altar in it, where the Satan worshippers at night have been coming in to sacrifice people. It's a marble table, exactly the size of a human being. What the fuck? The entire financial system, the banking system to the Catholic Church, all the money that people have been donating to the Catholic Church goes right into Rothschild's pocket. Rothschild has been the bank of the Vatican since 1823. Rothschild, Jacob Rothschild, and the Rothschild family has Satan's blood in them. They're half reptilian, half alpha draconian. So all the money that they've been putting into the Vatican, all these people have been going right into the devil's pocket, basically. Jacob has been the pinder, or the pinnacle of Draco, which means the penis of the dragon. He is the main representative, or was the main representative of the Alpha Draconian on Earth. He's been in control of the entire financial system for the past 200, well, for since the Rothschilds took over with the war of England versus France, with Napoleon. When the English defeated France, and a black rider was dispatched to go back to Rothschild to tell him what had happened. And when Rothschild was told that the English had won the war, Rothschild went out and did a performance in front of the English stock exchange, and so sad. The French won, which was a lie. So the entire English financial system sold all their stocks on pennies. And Rothschild went in and bought all of them up. A week later, oh, the English won, yay! And all these people who sold all their stocks and Rothschild bought them all up, that was it. That's how Rothschild became in control of the entire system, the entire world. So, yeah, the Catholic Church, and you know why they built their church in the shape of a fucking snake head, with the eyes, with the teeth, is to have the people sit inside of the mouth of the snake waiting to be swallowed. Evil. It's everywhere. It's terrible because they have poisoned everyone. They got everybody all confused. Everybody's running around about the UFOs, trying to be like, well, what is this? And we believe it's like this, and we believe it's like that, without the truth being, told. And now you have these famous people who have mass following all of a sudden going, hey, aliens are real. Well, let's have the truth really come out now. Well, why have these people who've been denying it this whole time suddenly coming up going, okay, tell the truth now, tell the truth? Well, that's because when the truth comes out, it allows these Satan worshippers to take action against us. The Black Awakening, spiritual laws. This will allow the Satan worshippers to act. So, after all that crazy shit happens, which should be the next 3 years, it's trials and tribulations. How did they know? Well, it wasn't prophesized. It was seen with technology, like the coronavisor, Project Looking Glass, the Orion Cube, crystal balls, real crystal balls. Yeah, they're. Let me look into your future. They're real. You can see into the future, past and present and future. And based on what you see, you can change and manipulate the future to prevent that from occurring. That's what a crystal ball is, or a looking glass, or whatever. They've been using this for thousands of years. That's how they knew all this shit was going to happen. They were able to see it thousands of years ago. Everybody's running around going, oh, it's a prophecy. Oh, hell. Oh. No, asshole, it's technology. They can't figure that out. So after trials and tribulations, which will last about 7 and 7.5 years, 8 years from now, and they kill me and most of humanity, they'll go underground, and Christ will return. And his Christ consciousness, which is the awakened state of mind, the connection or the awakening to the Dharma or the life force or the monad or the Holy Spirit, will be free. Will be freed. That's the symbol of the barbed wire around his mind, Christ consciousness being freed. And then the Catholic Church behind him falls, which I'm pretty sure I know that church from the design. I think it's the church in France that falls. Or it could be the church in Manhattan. I'm not sure which one, because it's a little funny, but I think it's the one in France. It falls, and you can see the water, just like Noah's time. This is the future, when they bring Christ back. You see the golden orb? The golden orb destroys the pyramids in Giza. God destroys the pyramids in Giza. God. The true symbol of God. This happened in on Mars too. You see the dents on the pyramid. It's identical. They're the same pyramids. This whole experiment or slave group that we are existed on Mars. And they had the same system with the Orion group, pyramids on Mars. And you can even see this pyramid here, which was destroyed. What I think the pyramids are actually consciousness suppressing technology, alien technology. And I gather that from the pyramids that they have on... Yes! Okay! Hold on a minute. Yes. Sure. Thank you. The pyramids in the Alaska, buried underground, the Alaskan pyramid, which was turned on in 2018 to suppress consciousness. Gee, I wonder why. But as you saw, and as soon as I saw it in the video, the reason why God destroys the pyramids, which align to Orion, which is a satanic force who takes over star system, the Orion group. Well, the same thing happened on Mars. So it was all there.
In the dictionary, Atom was the Aton, was the sun god in Egypt. And so the Jews called that the Tetragrammaton. Are you aware of that?
No.
Yeah, well, Tetragrammaton is the name of God in its most holiest form, but you cannot use his name, his real name. So the name of God is Aton, because Tetragrammaton is tetra, which means four, gramma, which means a letter, like you write in A, B, C, those are letters. So tetra is four, gramma is a letter, A-T-O-N, Tetragrammaton. But the Jews will tell you today, ask any Jewish rabbi or any Jews, what's the name of God? And they said, no, we can't use that. Can't use his name. Well, what do you call him then? We call him Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton, A-T-O-N, and then everywhere around the world, and every synagogue you will ever go into in any country of the world, you will always see God's name inside a sun. Always. As the rabbi explained to me, the Jews were not monotheistic, they were heno, spelled H-E-N-O, henotheistic. Henotheistic means choosing one God from a group.
Of several.
Of several.
A10 or A10 or A10 is A10, and so I was right. The Nazca alien mummies are God, the one.
Well, they are angels of God. They're angels of God. God is actually Luna, who is the moon goddess. So I'm going to show you some videos of angels, their craft, which is always a golden orb emitting light from it.
Now for the third, I'm sorry, I'm shaking here. For the third night in a row, this UFO is in the sky. It's very cylindrical. It, like I said before, you can almost see a man inside of it. I also got multiple reports from multiple states around the country that this same exact large yellow orb is floating stationary over their homes. In fact, I had over 1,200 people message me last night and tell me that they've seen the same exact thing. Like I said, I don't know if this is an Iranian ship of some sort. I don't know if it's an alien spacecraft. Biden needs to get us answers immediately. This is just ridiculous.
Crazy. My God, look at it. That's not a plane. That is wild. Look at it. I can't. That's going way too fast. That's not. What's with my camera? I had to go running and get my camera. Nobody was gonna believe me. What's with my camera? Look at this thing.
See that? Can't know it. Right. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section.
It's hard to get it on film. Yeah. It's super creepy. It's just like hovering. Is this what you saw with them that one time?
Yeah.
我需要蹲低吗？Shit look like it's coming towards us, bro. Whoa, whoa! Yo! What's the other side? Oh, shit. See that? Yeah, these fish. Yeah, that's it. What are we doing? Whoa, whoa. Oh, told us we must go to Shit look like it's coming towards us, bro. Whoa, whoa! Yo! What's the other side? Oh, shit. See that?
And then they showed him a massive golden orb, and they said that it's on its way towards us and that it's returning, as big as the sun. And to this day, we still don't understand what it is, which is why Dad rarely ever talks about it, but I want to talk about it. They showed him this massive golden orb, and they said that it's on its way towards us and that it's returning. And they didn't really say what it was. I suspect that it's, I don't know, maybe some high order consciousness that's coming, that's maybe like, you know, responsible for a lot of the shifts we're experiencing now. I don't know. Maybe it's God. I don't know. I've heard of crazier things, but it definitely said something's coming. So for a while we were like, whoa, is it Nibiru? What is it? You know, but they showed him this, you know, this massive golden orb.
So when they
Looking up in the dictionary, Aton was the Aton, was the sun god in Egypt. And so the Jews called that the Tetragrammaton. Are you aware of that?
No.
Yeah, well, Tetragrammaton is the name of God in its most holiest form, but you cannot use his name, his real name. So the name of God is Aton, because Tetragrammaton is tetra, which means four, gramma, which means a letter, like you write in A, B, C, those are letters. So tetra is four, gramma is a letter, A-T-O-N, Tetragrammaton. But the Jews will tell you today, ask any Jewish rabbi or any Jews, what's the name of God? And they said, no, we can't use that. Can't use his name. Well, what do you call him then? We call him Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton, A-T-O-N. And then everywhere around the world, and every synagogue you will ever go into in any country of the world, you will always see God's name inside a sun. Always. As the rabbi explained to me, the Jews were not monotheistic, they were heno, spelled H-E-N-O, henotheistic. Henotheistic means choosing one God from a group.
Of several.
A10 or A10 or Aton is A10, and so I was right. The Nazca alien mummies are God, the one true God, and they come from Sirius B. Their name is Aton or A10. That's the true name of God.
Pero hay un chingo de ovnis aquí a la verga. Hay uno.
That the identical craft And they showed up during the first caravan, the Mexican caravan, in Rosario, Mexico. They're the identical craft. This was over Japan. You can see, this was before CGI. But you can see, maybe not in this video, but you can see yeah, you see the camera. People were recording it. And you can hear the children in the background, their reaction to what they were seeing. This is an example of cloaking technology that they have. And the French government was speaking with Lou Elizondo and the Stars Academy in 2019, somewhere around there. And the French government told them, well, the only way that we can attack these craft is when they appear in our light spectrum, in our spectrum. So they can't attack them when they're cloaked. But the only way they can penetrate their shielding is with a depleted uranium weapons. And the look on Lou Elizondo's face was, you're gonna tell them that? Like that? So yeah, but listen to the sounds. They're scanning the group of people. And I've looked up the Q front in Japan and found the building and was able to see exactly where that building is in Japan to figure out where it was. But they showed up. You can hear it there's some kind of camera or something that comes out of the craft by the sound of it, takes a snapshot to scan the people, and then disappears. But listen to the reaction of the people. Holy fuck, the child is like, oh! Fear. See, it reappeared. Seishibuya, Japan, which is right outside of Tokyo.
Hay chingo de ovnis aquí a la verga.
Then, a few months later, the identical spacecraft showed up in Rosario, Mexico, during the first caravan. And at that same time, the military sent all these tanks to the border. This was 2018. When Soros paid for all of the caravans to come up and invade America in order to help Biden cheat to get, to work the political spectrum, because the whole political thing is based off of good and evil, these extraterrestrials who've been ruling over us in this secretly in the spiritual laws. These are spiritual laws that they've been allowed to exist and allowed to fight humanity because no one knew what the fuck was actually going on. Except for me, because I've been paying attention to this stuff. I've been watching it for the past 9 years, watching exactly what has been going on here. But here are 5 craft. They're identical to the ones seen in Japan, and I have another video where, but they showed up during the 2018, the first caravan that happened. But I can show you who God is. I don't know why this keeps happening. Oh, that would help. Hello. Yeah, I know this shit like the back of my hand. I found some pyramids underwater off the coast of Guilford, Connecticut. Pyramids off the coast of Guilford, Connecticut, which is in the Long Island Sound. And I kind of grew up near here, about an hour from here. But they're off the coast, and they align to the Palladian star system. It might be the city of Atlantis, but I'm not sure. But they align to the Palladian star system. But that's not all I figured out. I figured out a whole bunch of crazy shit. It's all in my free book. Free. Because the truth deserves to be told. Free. Let me see what else I can... Guess I'll show you God. God is Luna. What do you guys think about this? You think it's nuts? Evidence and compassion. The truth revealed. Unfortunately, it will lead to a lot of chaos because these very evil people have been in control of this whole system. They've been using humanity as a resource allowed by the Draco reptilian who've been secretly ruling over us for the past 6,000 years during this night first. And, well, they've not only been using us as a slave source to gain knowledge, to do the work for everything, primarily the gathering of resources from the planet, but there was knowledge and technology that they gained. And their whole operation that they've had going here, their whole plans, was to take that knowledge and wisdom and the cloning technology and the conscious transfer or soul transferal technology and live until the end of time, which is about 45,000 to 52,000 years from now, depending on which timeline we cross into in 2030 when a decision is made. Because the truth is revealed and people result to tribalism and fear out of reality, what's been going on here. Secretly, they've been using us as a resource, not only as a slave source to gain technology and wisdom, knowledge, but to adrenochrome harvest and use us as a food source. And that's what World War II was all about when the Black Suns, who is actually the Orion group. No, Lucifer is inverted. Yeah, Lucifer's inverted. They lied about Lucifer so that when he showed up, everyone would hate him when he was the liberator of humanity. With the light, which is not a false light, but a true light. But they inverted it so everyone would hate him. The beast. Yeah. Good times. Lucifer versus Satan. The book of Lucifer, which is the same book that the Statue of Liberty is holding. Lucifer is not the devil. Lucifer's been fighting Satan, who is actually a reptilian Alpha Draconian. They've been secretly ruling over humanity. The great deception that's to come isn't coming. We've been living in it this whole fucking time. But in the last days, good will be called evil, and evil called good. And, well, it will probably destroy humanity because people will think that the liberator, Lucifer, was Satan off of a lie. It's a lie. Another Catholic Church lie to deceive the people further. That's why everybody is running around today going, what's real? What's not real? And people can't figure out what's going on. Yeah, all the hunting grounds. All the missing 411 where all those missing people have been going. And the Devil's Triangle, which is the Bermuda Triangle, which is where it's another hunting ground. A designated hunting ground, which is the corner of Epstein Island and NASA. All the cattle mutilations that correspond with the deep underground military bases that were mostly destroyed in 2019 with earthquakes, but there was just a recent grouping of earthquakes there. Yeah, the Greys have been living down there. Another Great Lakes Triangle. These triangles are all over the planet. They're hunting grounds. The cherubs with the torch of light, the cherubs being suppressed. Let's see if I can the Anunnaki, who were taken over by the Orion group, the Draco, the satanic group, who took over 6,000 years ago. Moloch, the Orion group, and why there are always many gods, and then over the one true God who created us, our creators. They're also leprechauns. That's what they are, leprechauns. With the gold to build their Dyson sphere, their spacecraft containing Naibru, their planet. And you can see they're always on their knees. And this is when Satan had control over Earth. The source of Saturnalia, which is Saturn, Satan, and the whole Christmas tree thing, that's where Christmas came from. Which is all inverted lie, just like they lied about Lucifer and everything else. Everything's a fucking lie. Alright, I'm going for God, who is actually Luna. This is why the Freemasons worship their tools, which were gifts to humanity from our creators. This is Luna. Luna represents the moon goddess, and also her symbol is the lobster, which is mulching. When the shell grows, when the lobster keeps growing, it's evolution. That's what her symbol is. But her name is Luna. It's also Hathor. She is the lady. She is the god of our world, the ones that you've been worshiping from the Holy Bible. Her angels are the Anunnaki. They work here and also cause people to fall in love with each other with Cupid's arrows. And her over the devil wearing a mask, which is just like Saint Michael. When Saint Michael's over the demon. But you can see the little beings have knowledge that they've been giving to humanity to help humanity improve. Mercury is Moloch. And you can see the two snakes, which is Alpha Draconian and Orion, the two reptilians going after the pineal gland. The deal between Night First, allowing them to do this evil satanic nightmare bullshit to us in secret and rule over us this whole time. The whole interchangeable positions over time of who is in charge of, watching over humanity. Usually it's Luna, and that's also Diana, that's her other name, who has been in place, I don't know for how long, but she is the one who is God right now. And you can see her with the cherubs, with the Nazca alien mummies. They're the workers. And she has been the one watching over us, judging. And there are many depictions of her. There's also pictures of Mary, but I really don't think that it's baby Jesus. I think that a lot of these are the Nazca aliens, the the cherubs who have been God's angels. And you can see their place. There's Cupid and Luna. The symbol of God, which is either a triangle or a circle radiating light with onks, with light of the breath of life. Come on now. Seriously? But it was all here. It was all, you know, it was all here. Hathor with the little being. There are some that are Mary with baby Jesus, but most of these are Luna with the Nazca alien mummies, the cherubs, God's angels. But as you can see, Luna usually has the she's the moon god with the moon phases, the moon, but also see she has the moon, but also with the lobster, which symbolizes evolution. The lobster grows and sheds, molts its shell, and grows a new shell. It's evolution. It's important to tell the truth, but the truth has been hidden from us. It's important to know why this is happening. Aten. While Moloch has been ruling over Earth with shadow beings. This is in the library in Boston. And then on the other side, there's Luna, who is Hathor, the lady god. And she's been ruling in the 5th dimension over humanity. And that's been the war between the silent war that's been going on for thousands of years. Humanity rising up from being enslaved and kept asleep. And then there's the evil side, the satanic side, fighting the good side. And it's basically a chess game on Earth. Evil and good playing. They also call it the opera. It's an opera. But that's what this is. That's what's going on here. That's what the truth is. They lied to us to suppress us and keep us stupid, keep us entertained and busy so we could continue with our work. Which in ultimate reality didn't matter, because all we truly had was nothing, emptiness, which is difficult to grasp because we've been taught you have to get more, get as much as possible. But the whole secret to life was living your lives with integrity, with understanding, honor, honesty, compassion for yourself and compassion for others, Do not live with greed, anger, delusion, the three poisons. Follow the golden rule. See yourself in others. Tell your family and friends, remind them daily that you love them. That is all we had to do. That was the whole practice of life. This is a test. Are you good people with a true heart, or are not? You want more, you're greedy, you want more. This is mine, and you shit all over everyone else. Well, at the end of this test, at death, which there is no death really, we are shown our entire life through a soul recording, a karmic actions that we do, and the consequences that happen throughout our lives from free will. It's all recorded so that when we die, we are shown our entire life and everything that you've done in life, good, evil, everything. It's all captured moment to moment through the soul, which is all recorded right here. So that when we die, we are gone through the book of life and judged. And they can scroll through anything. You can't fake something. And I'm pretty sure this is one of the reasons why the Illuminati wear masks during their ceremonies to trick. When they die, they go up, and while Jesus or whoever is going through the book of life to judge that person, they're looking at all this evil that they're doing, and they can't make out who the other people are that they're doing it with until they die. But I think that's what's going on when they wear masks. At least that's what I've gathered from what I've experienced, but that's what's going on here. And you know, it's not about gaining anything. It's about giving away, being kind to others, being peaceful with each other. This is the door to heaven. And that's the game that's going on. Now there's a bigger game. It's not just a chess game, but on Earth. But it's a chess game on Earth inside of a Go game, a Chinese Go game in the universe, which is much bigger, but you don't really need to know that right now, but that's what's going on here. Good and evil is the balance throughout the universe, and it will bring us to peril at the end of time, which is like 52,000 years from now, either 52,000 or 45,000 years. There'll be the final war between good and evil, and that's when the entire galaxy or universe goes to war with each other. And that's the end. And someone is tasked to go back to the beginning to start the whole thing over again. Or actually before the beginning of the universe. Would you like to see that? The beginning of the universe. So imagine hold on a minute. Sorry, I'm kind of new for this chat thing. Anyway, imagine blackness, total black. Ignore Deep Space Nine. I just stole it from the thing there. Imagine total darkness. Nothing. No light. Nothing. Black. And then all of a sudden, a wormhole aperture opens. And out of that wormhole, light starts coming out of the wormhole, creating a ball which looks exactly like a white supernova, a white dwarf. A white dwarf. It's the bottom of a black hole. And the energy that at the bottom of a black hole filling this like white dwarf star, and it gets so big that it explodes, creating a new universe. That's the beginning of our universe, or actually before it begins. But that's what I was shown in the fifth density. Creation, creating everything in our universe. And that's what I was shown. So it was total blackness, and then a wormhole opens, and at the bottom of the wormhole, a black hole, right? At a black hole where all that matter is going somewhere. Where is it going? Well, it's going into a dimension outside of our understanding of an opening to creating a new universe. And then when it gets so large, by gathering so much energy and so dense, it has no choice but to expand and explode, creating space, time, and our universe. That is before the Big Bang. Before the Big Bang. But that's what it is. That's where the Big Bang comes from. The bottom of a black hole from another universe. And I'm pretty sure there are failed universes that exist, but they never get large enough to, or heavy enough to expand and explode, creating their own universe. Pretty wild shit, right? Well, I'm pretty tired. Yeah. Maybe next time I'll get into more of my book. But that's what's going on here. My free book is at theorionlines.com with all the evidence in it. And if you find my work of value, please consider leaving something if you'd like. I'd appreciate it. Until next time, have a good night. Be well. Bye-bye.